Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me for today's live stick mobility class. So for today's class, we are going to need 2 long sticks. Okay, some of the drills are going to be doing single stick drills, such as some monkey hangs and different variations of that. For today, we're also going to get into working a little bit on bicep and tricep, or more of a extension flexion based drill while driving into the wall. So we're going to get a little bit of the lateral line. We're also going to get into some obliques with the reverse bow and arrow today, okay? You will need a pad because we are going to get on the floor for a back bend and a hip flexor stretch today. So we're going to open up a lot of things here, okay? So we're going to start with 1 stick, okay? So we're going to work on the feet and ankles first, okay? We'll kind of speed through these a little bit more today, okay? And so what I want to do here is I want to start with my feet roughly a little wider than shoulder width apart. And I want my toes facing forward here, okay? I'll actually scoot over a bit so I'm in better view. So I want to have the bottom of the stick angled towards my body just a little bit, not much, but we're using this for balance. Hands are going to be roughly about chest height. Okay, I want to keep my shoulders down here, and we're only using this stick for balance, okay? So I'm going to first start by bringing my right heel up, keep all 5 toes on the floor, okay? And now I'm going to switch, bring my left heel up, my right heel comes down, but now I'm keeping my right heel hovered off the floor. So let's switch again, slow and controlled. Good, switch. Make sure you breathe here, switch. You want to try to keep your body as level as you can, switch. Don't come up, right? Try to sit that body down, keep it there, switch. Let's go a couple more. Switch. Switch. Last one. Switch. Good. Bring both heels down. Excellent. Good. Now I'm going to do, we're going to work with the lateral shifting of the ankle, but I'm going to have the stick on one side of my body here. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have my left hand up top. So I'm going to get into position. So for me, I'm actually going to get to a little bit of a split stance, okay? But what I'm going to do here, I just want to shift my weight forward on this front leg here, okay? So I'm going to have my left foot forward, and I'm going to have my weight shifted on this front leg. And what I'm going to do from here, I want to kind of get into a little bit of a hang. So I'm kind of using the stick as a little bit of assistance here. Now I'm going to bring that left heel up, okay? Again, still keeping the weight on this leg stays straight, squeeze this glute to make sure that hip's in extension. I'm going to start to shift my ankle in and out. So I'm going to drive my heel inwards towards my center line, and then I'm going to drive my heel out. Okay, so we're going to laterally work on those tissues. So drive the heel in, okay, should be on that big toe, and now we're going to drive that heel out. Okay, drive the heel in, drive the heel out. Try to make sure that knee's not moving too much. Drive the heel in, good, and drive the heel out. Good, back to center, and down. Come out, and now we're gonna switch sides, okay? So we're gonna get into that same split stance, getting his hands up top, right? Just giving a little bit of a hang. Keep this left leg straight. Again, glute tight. I'm gonna shift towards that front leg here. I'm gonna bring that right heel up. I'm gonna do that same thing here, okay? So shift the heel in towards the midline, and then shift out laterally away from the midline on that pinky toe. Shift in, good, and shift out. Shift in, shift out. Good, shift in, and shift out. Good, back to center, and down. Awesome. So now I'm gonna grab this second stick here, okay? So now we're going to get into pelvic tilts, all right? And so what I want the main focus to be here is, again, getting those anterior tissues active while going into that posterior tilt, getting those glutes active here, okay? So again, I'm going to turn from the side because I tend to like to do this from the side so I can get a look at my spine and how my spine is moving. So I want to keep my rib cage down, okay? I don't want to flare up. I want to keep the ribs down here, okay? Hands are going to be at roughly about shoulder height, okay? So what we're going to do from here, in a horse stance. I want to keep my pelvis stacked under my spine. Okay, rib down. I'm going to drive the sticks into the floor 30%, and now I'm going to do a posterior tilt. So I'm going to posteriorly tuck my pelvis, squeeze my glutes, driving my knees out of it. I want to make sure I'm gripping the ground with my toes. Okay? Now I'm going to do an anterior tilt, still keeping that drive of the sticks into the floor, only about 20 to 30%. Okay? Posterior tilt, squeeze those glutes, drive those knees away from each other. Okay? This ensures a little bit more glute activation here. Now I'm going to go to an anterior tilt. Good. Posterior tilt. So try your best to make sure your rib cage is not moving, okay? Anterior tilt. What that will look like is this, okay? Keep those ribs down. All right, one more time each way. Posterior tilt. Squeeze those glutes. Anterior tilt. Good. Back to center. And ease off. Okay. So now we're going to get into the lateral. Okay. So I'm going to face forward here. Both sticks are going to be in line with the mid toe of both feet. Okay. Roughly about 6 inches in front of the line of the toes here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop my hips down again. Okay. I'm going to drive. So when I laterally tilt, I want to drive that side of the stick down. So if I bump my hips to the right, driving that right stick down, I'll bump my hips to the left, driving that left stick down, okay? So, hands at shoulder height, okay? So I'm gonna start from here. I'm gonna bump my hips to the left, so I'm gonna bump my left hip up, drive that left stick down 30%. Just feel that left glute activate, the entire lateral line activate. I'm gonna come back to center, ease off that tension. I'm gonna bump my hips up to the right, drive that right stick down, get that good connection here, okay? Come back to center, ease off, drive that left stick down, bump my hips to the left. It's only 30%. Good, back to center. Now I'm gonna bump my hips to the right, drive that right stick down. Good, back to center. Excellent, let's go, 2 more each way. Drive that left stick down, bump the hips to the left. Breathe. Good, back to center, bump to the right, drive that right stick down. Good, back to center, one more time, bump to the left, drive that left stick down. Good, back to center, bump to the right, drive that right stick down. Good, back to center, and ease off, okay? Good. So now we're gonna get into working with the spine a bit here. Okay, so one stick goes down, and we're gonna get into a half kneeling position. All right, so I'm gonna start with my right leg forward first. Okay, and so what we're gonna do here, we're first gonna start by just working with some rotation, but as we start to get more into the rotation aspect, we're gonna start to work on lateral flexion as well. So it's gonna feel a little weird, right? But we're just trying to get multiple different aspects of movement throughout the spine. Okay, so I want to have my right leg forward here. Okay, I want to have that back foot, top of my foot is flat to the floor, so like this. Okay, so what I'll do here is I want to load that front leg, make sure my knee is stacked over the ankle here. Okay, the stick's going to be in front. All right, and so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to drive this back foot into the floor with about 20% tension. I want to squeeze that left glute. That just allows me to lock my hips forward here. Okay, I'm going to reach out as far as I can on the stick. Stick is in contact with my rib cage. From here, I'm going to start by rotating towards my front leg. So I'm going to rotate to my right, and I'm pulling back with this right hand, driving forward with the left, and my head follows. So now I'm going to come back to center, and now I'm going to rotate towards my back leg. So I'm going to pull with my left hand, drive with my right, breathe, good, back to center. Okay, let's go one more time each way. Pull with that right as we rotate to the right. Try to keep that knee in line with the foot. Good, Back to center. Now rotate to the left. Pull with that left hand. Good. Back to center here. So now we're going to add in some rotation, some of that lateral flexion here, okay? So I'm going to rotate to the right just a little bit. So let's go right about here, okay? And now I'm going to laterally flex both ways. So I'm going to laterally flex the right end of the stick towards the floor. Good. Come back up. And now I'm going to laterally flex the left end of the stick towards the floor. Good. Back to here. Let's go back to center. Now we're going to do the opposite side. So let's go to the left here. Same thing. I'm going to laterally flex the left end of the stick towards the floor here. Good. Now I'm going to do the right. Good. Here, back to center. And let's switch legs. Okay? All right. So, let's go over a little bit more. I think I should be able to here. All right. So, we're going to do that same thing. So, drive that back foot down 20%, squeeze that right glute just to lock those hips forward, right? Like I'm in extension. From here, I'm going to start by rotating towards my front leg. So, I'm going to rotate to my left. Pull that left side of the stick back. Throw that right side forward. Good. Come back to center. Now I'm going to rotate to the right. Pull the right stick behind. Right side of the stick behind. Good. Back to center. Excellent. Let's go back to the left one more time. Pull that left side of the stick behind you. Good. Back to center. Now pull that right side of the stick behind you. Good. Back to center. Now, all right, now we're going to do the same thing, rotation with some lateral flexion. So, I'm going to start by rotating to my left a bit here, okay? And if the angle I'm looking at about roughly a 45-degree angle here, okay? So, I'm going to laterally flex the left end of the stick towards the floor first. Kick the hip flexor, those obliques open up a bit. Good. Come back to being level. Now I'm going to laterally flex that right end of the stick toward the floor. Good. Come back to being level. Excellent. Come back forward. Now I'm going to rotate to my right. Try to get that same angle. I'm going to laterally flex the right end of the stick toward the floor. Good. I'm going to laterally flex the left end of the stick toward the floor. Good. Back to center. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. And so now what we're going to do here, we're going to warm up the shoulders and the neck a bit. Okay. And so we're going to take the long stick, we're going to place it behind our head here. Okay. And so the place I want you to be at, or first of all, let's talk about the grip. So your grip, or how far you're gripping apart, is going to really depend on you. I would suggest starting out with a wider grip if that's more comfortable for your shoulders. If you can move your hands in to about roughly where your arms are 90 degrees, that'd be perfect too. Okay? So I want to have the stick right below that occipital bone right here. Okay? And so what I'm going to do here, I'm first going to activate my upper back. So I'm going to pull the stick apart. So let's get into that horse stance, okay? Keep your glutes tight, keep the rib cage down. What I'm gonna do from here, I wanna push my head back into the stick to create a little bit of tension on the posterior neck tissues. And now I'm gonna pull the stick apart with about 30% tension. And it's gonna activate those upper back tissues. So we're getting all those posterior tissues activated here. Hold, breathe. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. Okay. So now what we're going to do here, we're going to add in some rotation of the neck. Okay. So whatever you do, don't rotate your body. Right. We're not rotating the body. We're just trying to keep everything still. We're just getting some rotation in the cervical spine. So sit back into it, okay? So drive the head back, pull the stick apart 30%, keep those glutes and rib cage tight, okay? Keep the core engaged. I'm gonna rotate to my left first, nice and slow. Go as much rotation as I can. Now I'm gonna rotate to my right slowly. After coming back to neutral, now rotate to the right. Good, back to center. Let's go one more rotation. Rotate to the left. You're still driving your head back into the stick. Good, back to center. Now rotate to the right. Good, back to center, and ease off. Good, okay. So let's get in a little bit of kayaking and finish off warming up the shoulder blades and the shoulder here, okay? So, gonna get into that horse stance. I'm actually gonna take a wider horse stance here, okay? And I wanna kind of squat down just a little bit more, right? So, sorry, my hands are a little sweaty. So I'm gonna grip out the stick as wide as I can. Stick is across the rib cage here, okay? I'm gonna start with my right hand up, okay? What I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna slowly drive that through. So I wanna feel that left shoulder blade gliding along the rib cage, okay? Come up and over, and now we're gonna switch. Right shoulder blades coming up and over. Try not to move the spine as much as you can. Try to keep this movement to shoulder blades only for now. We'll add in a little bit of rotation as we go along here, right? So to segment. Good, keep going. And your pace should be matching mine, right? Not going any faster. Just keeping that pace nice and controlled. Now we're gonna add in some rotation of the spine, okay? So as this left hand comes up and over, I'm rotating to my right. Right hand comes up and over, now I'm rotating back over to my left. Good, rotate to the right. Left, right, left, one more each way, right, and left. Good, and take a break for a second. So, now what we're gonna do here is, so as you can see, by a wall here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to use the wall as a way to anchor the stick into it, and we're going to drive laterally. But what we're going to do here is we're going to use the wall as a way to, for one, drive to keep the stick anchored, but also to kind of create some of that tension of driving one hand down and one hand up. So we're going to get a little bit of bicep tricep here, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the stick, one end of the stick, and I'm going to place it into the wall here. Now my outside hand is actually going to be face down, and my inside hand is going to be palm facing up. And so what I want to do, I want to make sure I got a full grip here on the stick, okay? And I want to have both arms at 90 degrees here, okay? So let's get into a horse stance. Now what I'm going to do, keeping the elbows in, I don't want those elbows to flare out. Just keep those elbows in, okay? I'm going to sink my hips down a bit here, okay? And now what I'm going to do first, I'm going to drive the stick into the wall. So I'm going to push with both arms, drive the stick into the wall. Okay, let's go 50%. You're going to feel those lateral tissues activate a bit, or you're going to feel that left foot pushing. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to drive my right hand up and my left arm down. Okay, so we're going to go up 50%. Still pushing into the wall, so push into the wall. You should see that bowing effect in the stick here. Remember to keep those elbows in. Hold. Good. 3, 2, 1. Just going to ease off slowly and come out. Good. Okay. So again, we're getting those lateral core tissues. We're getting that left glute driving, but we're also getting a little bit of bicep tricep here, folks. So let's do a couple more here. Okay. So we're going to up that intensity to 70%. Okay. So drive your hips a bit. Remember, keep your everything stacked nice and tall. I want to drive both hands to the wall, 70%. So push. Good. And now drive down with that outside hand, push up with that inside hand. Create that bow on a stick. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. Come up. Good. Let's go a couple more. So if the end of the stick that's in a wall sliding up, you're not pushing hard enough. Drive into that wall hard, okay? All right, 2 more. 70%. Get down into that ready position. Push the stick into the wall. Good. Keep those elbows in. Drop that left hand down, right hand up. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. Let's go one more time. Okay. All right. Sink down. Drive the stick into the wall. 70%. Elbows in. Good. Create that tension. Drive down with the outside, up with the inside. And 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. And now we're going to switch sides. So the good thing about this drill is kind of keeps you true to how hard you're driving into the wall. Right? Can't cheat this one. If you do, this goes flying up. So get set up in that same position. Okay. Both arms are at 90 degrees. So sink down. Okay, I want to keep my glutes tight. We'll start at 50%. Okay. Drive the stick into the wall. Good. Now we're going to create that bowing effect. So drive down with the outside, up with the inside hand. Don't lean into the stick. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. Nice. All right. Let's kick up that intensity. Let's get to 70% here. Okay. Right. So get ready in that ready position. 70%. Drive the stick into the wall with both hands. Good. Create that flex on the stick. Drive up the inside, down with the outside hand. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. Okay. Let's go into it again. Get down to that ready position. Elbows in, drop both hands into the wall, 70%. Good. All right, drive down with the outside, up with the inside hand. Hold. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Excellent, let's go one last time, okay? All right, elbows in, get ready. Drive that stick into the wall. Okay, all right, create that tension on the stick. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to do here is we're going to get into the reverse bow and arrow. We're going to work on those lateral tissues, really get that oblique to really kick in here. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go into different positions as we go through the reverse bow. So we're going to first start with a completely upright position. We're going to do 2 repetitions at a time, okay, in different positions here. So bear with me. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to step over a bit. So I want to have my feet roughly about hip width apart, okay? And now what we're going to do here, I'm going to start with my left side. So I'm going to have a stick on my left side here. You can see the stick is angled out pretty far from me, roughly about 1.5 to 2 feet. I don't know, something like that. But I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to place it up over the top, thumbs down grip, okay? Now, my left hand is going to be roughly about where my hip level is, okay? So what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to laterally flex over, okay? And I want to keep my right arm as straight as I can, and now I'm going to drive the stick down with both hands, and I'm going to pull in my elbow towards my hip. Go about 50%. 3, 2, 1, good. Ease off. Come back up. Excellent. We're going to go into that one more time. Let's up into 70% here, okay? So, left hand still rolls out on the stick. Take my right hand up, place it up over the top, okay? I'm not really trying to drive my hips away per se. I'm just trying to keep my hips from moving too much. So, left hand's on the stick, so drive the stick down with both hands. You're already going to feel some of that tension in those obliques. Now pull in with that left hand. Hold. In 3, 2, 1, good. Ease off. And come back up. So, now we're going to do here, we're going to go to a half kneeling position. So, I'm going to drop my left knee down. Okay, we're all doing on the left side first still, okay? And my right foot is going to be forward here. Now, 6 is going to be in that same position. 6 is going to be angled out even a little bit more here, okay? So I'm going to take my right hand, place it up over the top. Again, that thumbs down grip still, okay? What I'm going to do from here, now you can play around with the width of your legs here as well. So from here, keep my right arm straight. Okay, I'm going to keep my left hand roughly about ribcage level. Notice I'm leaning over. I'm going to drive the stick down, and I'm going to pull in with that left hand, 50%. Trying to create that bow on the stick here. And 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Come out. Excellent. We're going to do one more repetition. We're going to go 70% here. Okay? All right, right hand up over the top, okay? Drive that stick into the floor with both hands. Pull in with that left hand. Driving that right hand away. Try to straighten out that elbow. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. Now we're going to come back up into that standing position here. Now we're going to switch to the other side, okay? So, feet roughly about hip width apart, okay? Stick is going to be angled out in that same position. And so from here, okay, same setup, left hand up over the top, thumb facing down, right hand is roughly about hip level, okay? Want to keep that left hand straight, drive the stick down with both arms, and then pull in with the right hand, start at 50%. And 3, 2, 1, good, ease off. Come out, awesome. Maybe one more rep. Now we're gonna go 70% here, okay? Right, left hand up over the top, thumb facing down. So drive both hands to the floor. Good, and pull in with that right hand, pull that right elbow to the hip. Hold. 3, 2, 1, good. Ease off. Excellent. Let's get down to that half kneeling position here. So my right leg is back. Okay. Right. So get set up in that position. The top of the foot's into the floor. Okay. So plantar flex that ankle. Right. Left hand is up over the top. Okay. Stick is angled out. Laterally flex over here. Drive both hands to the floor. Let's go 50%. Pull with that right hand. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. We're gonna go one more rep here. It's probably a long 3 seconds, I know. All right. Same thing. Left hand up over the top. Try to keep that arm as straight as you can. Good, drive both hands down into the floor. Pull with that right hand, 70%. Three, 2, 1. Good, ease off. Good, and come out. Perfect. All right. So now what we're gonna do here, we're gonna get into a little bit of flow. So we're gonna need one stick for this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna flow in and out of a single leg bow and arrow, which is gonna be challenging, so balance is gonna be a pretty hard challenge here, into a single leg RDL, okay? So if I start with the stick on my left side, which we'll start on my left side, my inside leg is up, and as I transition into that single leg RDL, that left foot goes back, okay? Left foot drives backwards. So we're gonna start there. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna start with my feet together, okay? Now my hand is roughly about the same height when we typically do a regular bow and arrow. I'm just gonna keep it there. Notice that the stick is actually gonna be angled out pretty far from my feet here, but it's as if, again, I was in a regular stance. I'm just moving my feet in together. So, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring up this left hip, okay? So I'm gonna bring up this left knee, okay? What I'm gonna do from here, reach over with my right hand, up over the top, thumb facing down. Then I'm gonna get into a bow and arrow. Keep this left hip up. Good. Now let's transition into a single leg RDL. Still creating that bow. Good. Just go ahead and come back up into that single leg bow and arrow again. And relax. Ease off. Good. Let's actually switch sides here. So we'll do one repetition on each side. Main thing is, you're gonna wanna focus on that control, right? Right. Yeah, set up. Bring up that inside hip, or inside leg, okay? Left hand up over the top, thumb facing down, grip. Now I'm gonna drive the stick out, straighten both arms, keeping that right hip up. Now let's transition into that single leg RDL. Drive that right foot back. So creating that bow. Come back up into that single leg bow and arrow. Good. Bring it back in. Right foot down. Switch sides again. So you can always, again, play with that distance of where the stick is. If it feels better to have the stick further away from your body, then do that, okay? So, same thing. Bring that left foot hip up first. Right hand up over the top. Okay, create that bow. Gotta laterally flex into it. Good. Go into that single leg RDL. Throw that left foot back. Pulling up with that outside hand. Okay. Good. Go back into that single leg bow. Good. Back in. Awesome. Switch sides. Last one on this side here. Okay. Bring that inside hip up. Left hand comes up and over the top. Extend those hands out. Good. Transition into that single leg RDL. Breathe. Come back up into that single leg bow and arrow. Good. Come out. Excellent. Good. Okay. So now we're going to do here, we're going to get into a single arm monkey hang here. Okay. So with this one, we're going to stay in that monkey hang. My hands are a little sweaty, so I'm going to take a second. And we're going to work through different parts of rotation here. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is rotating 12 to 3, 6, 9. Okay. So we're going to work on all of those positions from this single arm hang here. So I'm going to have my right leg forward. Okay. I want to place my left hand on top of the stick here. Okay, you can always adjust as you need to. And I want to angle the stick out a bit, not too much. Okay. What I want to do from here, place my right hand on I'm gonna grab the stick with my right hand here. Okay, and I'm going to create a pretty big split in the hips And I'm gonna drop that back knee down towards the floor until I get to a full hang. Now I just wanna hang here for a sec, right? Good. Breathe, okay? Go ahead and slowly come out. We're gonna get back into that hang again. This time, once you feel secure, you're gonna let go with that right hand, okay? So again, left hand up, right hand on the stick, drop down to that hang, okay? Feel good, let go. Excellent. So what we're gonna do here, we're start by reaching to 12 o'clock. So as I reach my right hand forward, I'm gonna rotate the stick back, behind, to create some more of that rotation. Good, I'm gonna bring this hand back in. Now I'm gonna reach to my 9 o'clock. So I'm gonna reach across, get further rotation. Good. Now I'm gonna come back to center. Now I'm gonna reach to, well, this is 3 o'clock. I'm gonna drop my left hip down towards the bottom of the stick. Now I'm gonna reach to 6. Get further rotation. Good. Come back to center and come out. Excellent. We're gonna switch sides here. Okay. Same thing, right? Left foot is forward. Okay. Now the bottom of the stick is basically right about the line of my left heel here. Okay. So left hand on the stick. I'm gonna drop that back knee down, get into a good hang. Just hang out here for a second. Let those tissues get a little acclimated. Good, slowly come out. Excellent. Now we're gonna go to that one more time. Okay, now we're gonna add in those rotations. Okay, left hand on the stick, drop that back knee down. Good, let go with the left hand. So same thing, we're gonna reach that left arm out to 12. Right hand gets rotated back. Good, bring hand in, rotate to 3 o'clock. Get further rotation. Good. Bring the left hand in, rotate to 9. Drop that right hip towards the stick. Good. Now we're gonna go to 6. Good. Back to center. And come out. Excellent. Good. Okay. So now we're going to work on stretching out those hamstrings, okay? So what I want to do here is we're going to start with the sticks on our shoulders here. And so we're going to do one leg at a time, okay? And I want us to start with the right foot, okay? So sticks are on the shoulders. Again, adjust the sticks to whatever distance that you may need to, okay? But the sticks are on my chest and shoulders here, okay? And about roughly, if I stand my feet together, about 2.5 feet in front of me. So what I want to do is I want to take my right heel, place it right in front, still in line with my hip, of my left foot here. Okay, I want to keep my ankle dorsiflexed, so toes up towards the ceiling. What I'm going to do from here, I'm going to slowly drive my hips back and hinge, reaching my hands down towards the bottom of the sticks. And I want to keep a soft knee on that right leg here, okay? Just a soft knee. I want to try to keep my back as straight as I possibly can. Now from this position here, I'm going to lightly drive that heel into the floor, kind of going at a diagonal line here. I want to hold this position. Let's take a couple deep breaths here, and then we'll start to add in some rotation. Let's go through 2 breath cycles. So deep breath in through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. One more time, deep breath in through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. So keeping that tension, let's start rotating that hip. So I'm going to rotate my hip externally, and my foot is going to rotate away from my midline. Now I'm going to rotate my hip internally, and it's going to rotate towards my midline. Okay? Good. Rotate externally. Excellent. Now internally. Good. Back to center. Slowly come up. Ease off. Bring that foot back. Now we're going to switch sides. Okay? All right, hands on the stick here. Left foot comes out to that same position that the right foot was in. Okay? Again, that left foot is still in line with the hip. We're not crossing the hips here. So, left heel up. Softening on the left knee. Drive those hips back. You want to kind of sit back into it. Okay? Right leg doesn't need to be straight. You can actually bend it. Okay? It's there for support. Drive that heel into the floor lightly. A couple of breath cycles. Okay? 2 deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more time. Breathe in through the nose. Out through the mouth. All right, start adding in that rotation here. So start externally rotating. Internally rotating. So driving that heel into the floor, that tension never gets let off. Good. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. Back to center. Good. Slowly come up. Excellent. Good. Okay. So let's actually get to this back bend here to kind of finish off. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go down to a full kneeling position. Okay. So let's see if I can get it here. So you can use 2 sticks for this. This makes it a little bit easier to manage. Okay. And I want the sticks to be on my shoulders here, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna drive both of my feet into the floor and squeeze my glutes. That allows me to lock my hips into extension as I start to go into that back bend. Now, if you're not comfortable with this, please do not do this, okay? This is gonna be pretty extensive in opening up the anterior tissues, but if your back is too much of an issue, I would definitely not suggest this, okay? So, I want to have both hands right about where my shoulders are, okay? And what I'm going to do, keep my elbows down, I'm going to drive my feet into the floor. I'm going to squeeze my glutes. That gives my hips into extension. If you want to just do a regressed version, you can simply just press your hands up like so, and that'll get a pretty big stretch, okay? So from here, let's go ahead and press those hands out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend going backwards towards the wall, keeping my hands stretched out. So I'm also getting a little bit of a hang here. Squeeze those glutes. And 3, 2, 1, good. I'm gonna bring myself back up. Excellent. Let's go one more time here. So you can actually adjust your hands to get a little bit lower if you want to, okay? So I'm actually going to lean back a little bit, okay, so I can adjust my hands, and I'm already in a pretty good position. Again, drive those feet into the floor, squeeze those glutes, place my hands on the sticks. From here, I'm going to drive my hands out straight. Hold, deep breath. And 3, 2, 1, I'm going to come back up. Excellent. And ease off. Okay. Going to bring the sticks back down. Going to come out of position. Excellent. And that concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank you everybody for joining me today. I hope everybody had a wonderful class. Happy Saturday out there. Stay safe. Have a good weekend.